Hello, my name is Marnie Penner, and I'm an anxiety and social anxiety coach. And today I'm going to talk about how honesty, love, and acceptance enable us to find conversational flow. It is conversational flow that enables us to be truly present with the other person, free of distractions, free of cognitive clutter, emotional clutter, and be truly present with the other person, absorbed in the conversation. And it is this state of conversational flow that is the solution out of social anxiety. It makes us feel fulfilled after a social interaction instead of exhausted, tired, or worn down. Okay? And honesty, love, and acceptance are the exact tools that enable us to gain this conversational flow. I'm going to start out by explaining what is not flow and why that is so exhausting. So you've probably heard about flow in general, like regular flow. Let's say you're working on a spreadsheet for work, but you have tons of distractions. Your emails are going bing, bing. You have your phone turned on. You've got, the radio going on telling about coronavirus. Like and you've got your coworkers that keep interrupting you. So what you're going to find is doing this spreadsheet is going to feel exhausting. It's not going to be fulfilling. It's not going to be fun. You're getting interrupted from flow. The same thing happens when people with social anxiety often happens when people with social anxiety are having a conversation. So instead of being in conversational flow with the other person, they have all of these thoughts. Does she think I'm stupid? Oh my gosh, what am I going to do later on today? What if I screw up? What am I going to talk about next? Oh my God, she looks like she's bored. Am I boring her? Right? There is tons of cognitive clutter. There's also emotional clutter getting in the way of conversational flow. Like, let's say we're feeling something and we feel ashamed of something. Well, we're not talking about it, so we're pretending to be happy, in a good mood, but in reality, we're feeling some negative emotions. That's emotional clutter. Okay. And what a lot of people do, and people without social anxiety as well, is they tend to have plan clutter. Like, oh, I gotta go soon. I got my dental appointment, planning the rest of their day rather than being present with the person they're communicating with. Okay. Now, the reason why we often have so much clutter in our conversations, preventing us from going into flow, is there's what I call societal feeling rules. If we're meeting with a friend, we're supposed to feel a certain way. We're supposed to act a certain way. At work, we're supposed to feel a certain way, act a certain way. Right? Like there are a lot of rules telling us to be dishonest. But whenever we're dishonest, whenever we're emotionally dishonest or dishonest about what's going on in our head, in our thoughts, in our mind, in our heart, then we are going to have cognitive clutter or emotional clutter, and which will prevent us from having conversational flow. Okay. So how can we go into flow? Okay, well, first I'm going to give an example about the Excel spreadsheet, and then I'm going to give you a really detailed example of how we use honesty, love, and acceptance to have conversational flow, which is the solution out of social anxiety. Okay, so in order to achieve flow regarding the spreadsheet work, we have to be very honest with ourselves and we have to be honest with others. Turn off our email notifications and be honest with others about it. I only look at my emails between 8 and 9 and between 1 and 2 because I do focused work in other times. However, if it's really urgent, please come knock on my door, and then give them a way to know how they can reach you if it's urgent. So be honest with yourself about your goal to have spreadsheet flow and be honest with others that is important to you to have this flow. And then that reduces the distraction. It also reduces the cognitive clutter. What if my boss is trying to call me? What if, no. You have peace and quiet and you can work on your spreadsheet. Okay. And then there's the love concept. It's much easier to go into flow if we can see that no matter what spreadsheet we're working on, no matter what work we're doing, we can love this task. It's distractions that makes us not love our work. If we have a state of flow we feel bliss. They've shown that people have more flow and therefore more flow-related bliss at work than they do when they're at home. So admitting to ourselves that we can really love doing this spreadsheet. And so the emotion of loving our work, loving our spreadsheet, helps us to go into flow. Acceptance. If ever we have a thought come into our mind like, ooh, what about the doctor's appointment? We can maybe write it down or just accept it and then go back into flow, back into the spreadsheet, okay? So that's how we use honesty, love, and acceptance to have flow when doing the spreadsheet. And now I'm going to explain exactly how we can use honesty, love, and acceptance to have flow in a conversation with someone. Okay, the first thing we can do to ensure that we're going to have conversational flow, which means an awesome conversation that fulfills us and gives us joy. Okay, so the first thing is self-honesty. Do I have any dishonest agenda going into the conversation? Okay, a lot of times people with social anxiety try to plan what they're going to say, plan their conversation topics. Or a lot of times when we're going into a conversation, we can have an agenda. I want to impress them. I want them to like me. I have to look professional at this meeting. She better enjoy this conversation. We better have a good time. This conversation had better go well, right? We have some agenda in place that's kind of planning and it's controlling. Okay, but we don't want to control the other person. We don't want to control the conversation. We don't want to control the situation. We don't want to control the connection. We want to go into conversational flow. So I have various self-honesty techniques that my clients can do before social interaction to make sure that they're free of any pre-conversation agendas. Okay, and then we go into the conversation, and what I advise that we start with is the concept of love. Love the other person, be interested in them, care about them, truly want to know how they're doing, right? Because that gets us out of our head and into our heart and present with the other person, okay? So I always start any social interaction with the love concept. Now, if we notice that we have something on our mind, either emotionally or just some whatever in our mind, and then what I do is I apply honesty, my own emotional honesty. I'm honest with the other person about what's on my mind. Oh, I just had this meeting with my child's teacher. I'm just kind of thinking about that a lot right now. Get it out, right? Oh, I'm feeling kind of tired today. Get it out. Right? So our own emotional honesty. That doesn't mean we have to go into great detail because every conversation is different. Every connection is different. Every connection deserves a different level of detail. But it's this general emotional honesty of why we're distracted, why we've got clutter in our mind, why we've got clutter in our heart. Let it out so that we can be present with the other person. Because when we voice our emotion, it changes. It's like we release it into the void. We enable ourselves to be present in the conversation with the other person. Now, if we notice that the other person is giving off any strange vibes, so let's say they look tired, or they look like they're in a hurry, or they look like they don't even really want to have this conversation, then voice it. Voice the other person's vibes. Ask for their honesty. Oh, you're looking a little tired today. Is everything okay? Are you doing okay? Are you sure you have time to talk today? We can talk another time, right? Get it out. Ask about it. Because if you're feeling vibes from the other person, it's going to prevent conversational flow. You're going to have clutter in your mind. I wonder, does she even really want to have this conversation? Or for example, let's say I said something honest and she had a kind of a strange response. She got a bit quiet or she made a strange face. Then I can ask her, are you okay with what I said? What do you think about what I said? What's on your mind right now, right? Get it out, okay? Because that will get in the way of conversational flow. We can also apply the concept of acceptance. So if ever we get this strange anxiety-related thought come into our mind, causing clutter in our mind, getting us out of flow, we can just accept it, because there's certain things that are worth being honest about, and other things are simply anxiety symptoms. So for example, if I realize I'm tired, or I've been having a bad day, or I just had a really difficult conversation with my husband, then say it. Say it in some way, even if it's not details. But if I have an anxiety symptom, like some irrational fear, she's not going to like me. She's not going to like my clothes. Like, she's not going to, right? Accept it. Well, no, you could say, oh, I don't know. I'm feeling like maybe you don't like this shirt. No, I don't like it. No. See, that's an anxiety symptom. That's an irrational fear. Okay, so irrational fears are accepted. I used to kind of accept my anxiety symptoms as kind of being up there. It would come and I would just accept it. It's okay if this irrational fear hovers over the conversation, as long as I'm focusing on love and honesty instead. What's really going on inside me? What do I really feel? Because there's primary emotions and there's secondary emotions. Secondary emotions are like irrational fears. They just hover. But if we accept them and we focus on being honest about what's really going on with us, or what we're really sensing from the other person, asking for their honesty, as well as loving the other person, being truly present with them, then these anxiety symptoms, they just fade away. And so overcoming social anxiety is this delicate balance of self-honesty techniques, honesty techniques, such as being honest about our own emotional state or what's on our mind, and asking about the other person's honesty, their emotional state, their vibes, their reactions, loving the other person, being truly caring about them, being interested in them, loving the conversation, and accepting the anxiety symptoms and irrational fears so that we can go back into flow. Conversational flow. That's what conversational flow is, right? And that is the solution to all forms of social anxiety. Let me know if you'd like to know more about how I help my clients overcome social anxiety using all of these various techniques. Thank you for listening, and I hope you have a wonderful day.